everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to show you my top 7 moderate pelvic stabilization exercises. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So these moderate exercises, or some people call them intermediate, not the beginning ones, not the end ones, the ones in the middle. These are for stabilizing the pelvis. So it's something like maybe you have had an SI joint dysfunction and you were out of alignment. You've got yourself back in alignment. You want to stabilize the pelvis to get it strong again. So that's what these are for. I do have a basic video, so if you're not quite ready for the moderate or the intermediate, go ahead and check those out. And if you haven't already, make sure and click on the subscribe button. So some of these exercises are just going to be a step above some of the basic ones. So we started off in the basic with a simple bridge. So now we're going to do a single leg bridge. So once you've mastered that just regular bridge, you're going to go into a single leg. What's important with the single leg bridge is try to keep your pelvis or your hips level. If you feel like you're dropping the side with the leg up, you're not quite ready for the single leg yet. So what I mean is I'm going to just bring one leg up and go into the bridge. Now, mine are pretty level here. If they were weak, probably what would happen would be this. If you feel like this is happening and it's not level, you're not ready for those single leg bridges yet. So it's the same concept where you want to kind of go up one segment at a time. You don't have to stop at each segment, but you want to make it a smooth up and a smooth, nice and slow coming back down. You can put your leg all the way up. You can just bend it up a little bit. I like to kind of have it straight out just to get it out of the way. So you're coming up, little pause at the top, and then nice and slow coming back down. You can place your hands on the floor if you need to, but you don't have to. So just coming up, and then nice and slow coming back down. So you can start off with just about 10 of those. Do each side, because when you're trying to stabilize something, you want to work both sides, even if just one side is the painful side. And then you can work your way up from there. So the next one is going to be kind of progressing the clamshell. So with the clamshell exercises, the biggest thing that you want to do, I'm going to prop up now for the moderate ones. If you are uncomfortable like this, make sure you lie down, support your head. You don't want to get something else hurting because you're supporting yourself in a bad way. But you want to keep your hips perpendicular to the floor. So they're not going to roll back. They're going to stay up this way. So if you feel like they're rolling back, you're probably not ready for them yet. So it's just like the regular clamshell, except this time, instead of your feet being on the floor, you're going to bring them up into this position. They're still going to stay together, but you're keeping your feet up now. If you want to hold onto your hip here to make it a little bit easier to know if you're rolling, you can. You can just put it down this way as well. And then you're just going to lift that knee up and nice and slow coming back down. So by lifting your feet up off the floor, it makes it a little bit harder to stabilize. It makes you have to work a little bit harder, but still try not and roll back. So if you feel like you're rolling back again, you're probably not ready for this one quite yet. So again, I would just start off with maybe 10 of these, then flip and do the other side. And then once those become easy, you can kind of work up from there. So then the next one is going to be a side plank with a leg lift. So again, we're just kind of progressing these exercises. So when you're doing a side plank, you want to try and get your whole body in a straight line. So you don't want to be sagging down, you don't want to be up, you don't want your bottom to be sticking out. Make sure that elbow is kind of in alignment with that shoulder so you can keep that shoulder stabilized and not injure that as well. So you're just going to come up, you can put your hand on your hip if you want to. Make sure you're in a straight line here, and then you're just going to lift your leg a little bit off of the other one. Just a little pause, 2 to 3 seconds, and then come back down. If you feel like you're starting to sag your hips down like that, again, you're not quite ready for it. But just up, it doesn't have to be a high kick, and then just nice and slow coming back down. So again, you might just want to start off with 5 on each side, and then if that becomes easy, you can do 10, 15, and if all that's easy, then you can bump up to the next one. So now we're just going to stay on our side, but we're going to do that fire hydrant motion, but in side lying instead of on quadruped this time. So still kind of keeping that elbow up underneath there. You can go ahead and straighten out your legs. You can bend that bottom one if you want to, wherever it's most comfortable. But the top leg now, you're going to bend it up to where your hip is almost in a 90-degree position and that your knee is almost in a 90-degree position. So just up and down like that. keeping it like this, and then you're just gonna open up like that. So it's that fire hydrant, when you see a dog going up to a fire hydrant kind of thing, and just opening up that hip. But you can see my legs starting to drop down just a little bit this way. Try and keep that knee up if you can, so you're really getting that movement at the hip. But it's not rolling back. Again, I'm trying to keep my hips perpendicular to the floor, and I'm just opening up and then coming back down. So again, just starting off with 10 to 15 of those and then working your way up from there. So the next ones are going to be standing up. So the next exercise is going to be sidestepping with a resistive band. So this time you just want to take the band and put it right around your ankle, so down by your feet. Before you get started, you want to make sure and kind of get your pelvis in a neutral position or set your pelvis. So a lot of times the easiest way to do that is squeeze your booty muscles in, and that kind of sets everything. So you want to try and hold that the whole time you're doing that, and that's going to help stabilize that pelvis. So keep your legs straight. This is just kind of a sidestepping motion. And so you're going to step out, kind of make a big step, and really gently bring your other leg back in. So don't let it fly back in. You're just doing sidestep, 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 sidestep. So you can go 10 steps one way, 10 steps back. If you don't have a lot of room, you can just do one step this way, one step back. But you want to keep your legs straight with this one. You want to set the pelvis, keep it in a good neutral position. So you have to think about a lot while you're doing it, but really try and activate those muscles together, engage them together, and that's what's going to make it stronger. So the last two are going to be on a step. So the next exercise is going to be a hip hike. You need a step for this. It doesn't have to be this tall, and make sure you have a railing or something to hold on to, somebody there with you if you're doing it for the first time, because you might feel a little unstable while you're doing it. So for the hip hike, you want to get to the edge of the step where one foot's hanging off and the other one's on there. So it's kind of just how it sounds. You're going to hike the hip that's off of the edge. So what you want to do is not necessarily bend your knee and go up and down, because that's more like a squat on the step. You want to drop that hip. Whoa, don't do that. You want to drop your hip and then come back up. So you're hiking it. And you can see that it takes some balance. So if you need something to hold on to, definitely hold on to it. But see how I'm dropping my hip and coming up. It's not really using the other leg. It's hip hiking, going up and down. The movement is here. You can see if I put my hands here, that's where the movement is. So again, this is working a lot, because if you feel unsteady and if you're not holding on to something, a whole lot of muscles are going to be working. So make sure that you just start off with 5 or so, do both sides, turn around if you need to, do the hip hike on the other side, and then get both sides in there, and then progress as you need to. But again, it's tougher than it looks, so I wouldn't try it the first time not holding on, because you could see that there was a lot of balance stuff going on with that. So then the last one is just going to be hip circles, but having it off the edge. Now, usually when I have you doing exercises, I tell you to pull up your toes, so that helps lock out all the muscles. For these hip circles, you want to point your toes downwards. So you're going to point them down, and you're going to make the hip circle as big as you comfortably can. So again, if you need to hold on to something, hold on to it, but really the movement should be at the hips. So you're not kicking out and going out like that. Your hips and that pelvis is stabilized, and you're moving those hip muscles to get that circle. So pointing the toes, going out and around as much as you comfortably can. And then you can do 10 one way, and then reverse that circle and do 10 the other way. And then turn around and do the other side as well. So there you have it. Those are my top 7 moderate pelvic stabilization exercises. If you'd like to help support my channel, make sure and click on the link up here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking down here. And remember, be safe. Don't fall off that step. Have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.